I'm going to be making a game about window cleaning. Let me explain. So back in medieval times, there were no hospitals, right? They'd just pray for you or some other garbage. But nowadays, we've got all these medicines and technology, so we've clearly come quite far in that field. But the same can't be said for the window cleaners. The best they've managed to come up with is a pole. Yeah, you've got x-rays, and then you've got a pole. So I want to find out what it would look like if window cleaning was brought into the modern age. So of course the first thing we need is a blank canvas of windows for us to clean. This must be a window cleaner's worst nightmare. You get a call one morning. Hey, we've got a building for you. Oh yeah, how many windows? Oh, only 600.
I'm gonna kill myself!
Anyway, to get the dirt on the windows, I just overlaid a PNG onto them and then positioned it onto the building. In order to clean the windows, for now I've set it up so it will get rid of the dirt where I'm clicking. The way this works is it creates this little circle called a mask, and if I put the dirt on a new layer, when you look through the mask, it removes the dirt behind it. So the dirt's still there, but it's just an easy way to make it disappear where you're going to be cleaning. But speaking of cleaning, let's get our character down from Mars and get started. I thought it would be a good idea to start off with the basics, so I hopped into Blender and modelled a sponge. Okay, I've made an animation, so when I click, he'll wave the sponge around and... Oh, that's very large. There we go. Only that much left. But currently this is as high as we can clean, so I need to come up with a way for him to be able to reach higher. Now, most ladder steps are quite thin, but as you may have noticed, mine are looking kinda thick. But this time it's not just me being bad, I actually have an excuse. You see, the way jumping works in the game, it checks to see if the centre of your character is standing on the ground, and if it is, then you can jump. But here, only the front of the player is grounded, so as far as the game is concerned, you've mastered the power of levitation. So with these chunky steps, we're able to reach a bit higher, but there's still so much that we can't get. So I decided to go and ask some of my local window cleaners if they have any ideas. Unfortunately, that wasn't very useful as they all came back with the same response: how did you get into my house? Okay, I've come up with a solution that requires a long cylindrical object, a brief physics lesson, and 5 minutes of boning. All to create this. To turn it into something actually usable, I added a cube for the player to stand on, so now this lift should get us to the top of the building. Ooh, remember when I said it would actually be usable?
One eternity later.
With this finally working, we're able to go all the way to the top, but currently there's no challenge to the game, so I added a bar at the top of the screen which shows how much water you have. Every time you use the sponge, it'll go down, then once you run out of water, you'll still be able to swing the sponge, but it won't actually clean anything. Now we just need a way to replenish your water supply. This is probably the first time in history that physics has actually been useful. Well, if you ignore the fact that this game would not be possible without basic physics. But for now, I'd say this is looking pretty good. And I know the well does look like it's more out of place than water in Africa. But repeat after me. The well is fine. There's nothing to get upset about. There's something I haven't told you yet. The reason I spent 5 minutes boning up the rope is because I want it to be able to swing.
Why?
I'm glad you asked. It's so these funny flying creatures called birds can cause a little bit of mayhem. I started by figuring out where I want the birds to spawn by getting the X, Y and Z components, and then I made sure they all faced the lift because, well, you'll see why shortly. After testing it out, I gave the control seagull a collider because every bird that spawned is a duplicate of this one, except in the code they're each given a random position within a range. Let's see how it looks so far. Okay, so unless seagulls can somehow break the sound barrier, there's a few things that need to be changed. I've slowed down the speed, but now it's very easy to see an issue. You can see this bird comes in and collides with the rope to make it wobble a bit, but the next two somehow go straight through it. It took me a while, but eventually I realised that each bone in the rope has a very small collider, so it just became a game of chance whether the bird would spawn at the right height to hit the collider. So all I did was make each collider longer. And now you can see that's working a lot better. I wonder what would happen if I were to increase the rate of them spawning. So now we've got the basics down, but let's be real, adding a few birds and a lift just isn't enough to make this game feel like you're in this high-tech modern age. So I've got a couple more ideas. Wait, what's that building over there? I know I was saying the well was out of place, but this thing looks like it could actually be from Africa. What's Obama doing here?
Hello, young window cleaner. I hear you've been struggling with a bird infestation.
Well, yeah, I guess the lift's kind of unusable at this point.
Fear not, friend, for I come from a long line of window cleaners.
I don't think that's true.
And I shall bestow upon you the most sacred tool in a window cleaner's arsenal. The water gun. This thing has enough power to clean windows and blow away any pesky birds. I'd recommend using Trump supporters for target practice.
Okay, I'm gonna get going now, Obama. Thanks for the gun. Let's test this out. It's pretty good at clearing away the birds, but it's currently got no effect on the windows, and I think I know why. This is R scale, and then... Yep, this is how big of a mask the gun's making. I tried to make the gun and the sponge have different sized masks, and I'm sure that would be super easy if I spent 2 minutes on it. But who has 2 minutes to spare? Well, you obviously do if you watch the video this far, but I sure don't. So for now the mask can stay the same size. Here we go, we can clean the windows from a distance, and I've even added a nice little waterfall effect for when you shoot. I now realise that this has made everything I've done before pointless, and there's literally no reason for why you would use the sponge. But now I want to add something that I'm sure won't be a complete waste of time, a catapult to clean huge areas at once. So I went back into Blender and modelled a place for the victim. Willing participant to sit. What, you thought I'd be launching water balloons? No, I've got something special planned. So hopefully when I press play, the cube will drop, activating the catapult. Let's see. The box may not be as solid as I first thought, but that's an easy fix. No, that's fine. I'll just freeze its position so it can only move up and down. Ah, I know what the problem is. All we need to do is drop a sphere, not a cube. That must be it. Yep, just need to make the plank a bit thicker. Oh, that's kind of what I want. Now let's up the stakes. Obama, you're coming with me.
Or what?
Okay, ignore the fact that I just fell down the stairs. Actually, let me do that again. 2 seconds.
No worries, G.
Obama, you're coming with me. Alright, Obama's in. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you're meant to stay in the box. Nope, second time hasn't worked either. Stop trying to show off. Okay, I fit him in as tight as possible and made the plank even thicker. This time has to work. I've been doing this for way too long. I've changed it so instead of a ball dropping, the catapult swinging is now an animation. So in theory, it should be more reliable. Obama, I know none of this is your fault, and I am doing all of this against your will, which probably makes me a bad person.
Yes, it does.
Shut up, I'm monologuing. I may be a bad person, but all I want to do is clean windows. Is that too much to ask? Anyway, I don't need you anymore. Thanks for the gun though. With that nightmare over, let's move on. I feel like I've only been focused on this one building so far, when there's a whole city that needs cleaning. Only, just walking around is rather slow, so we need a fast way to get around that is also able to take us up to the tallest buildings. And I think I've got just the thing. well, this tutorial that I'm going to copy is just the thing. A grappling hook. Here we are. I've added the ability to pull yourself in when you've grappled, so it's easier to stick to walls, and now it's definitely a lot more fun to go around cleaning windows and drive-bying with the sponge. Although, if it took me 3 minutes to clean one side of a building, cleaning up the whole city will take hours. If only there was a way to clean everything at once. Yes, that's right, it's boss fight time. Does this game need it? Absolutely not. Does it make sense to have one within the context of the game? Absolutely not. And that's what's going to make it that much better. It's very big, but at the moment you can't tell that it's meant to be a living creature. That is, until we add the eyes. Wow, so much more realistic. Okay, let's give it a go. I've given it an animation so it'll jump around a few buildings, and every few seconds it will look directly at you with those menacing eyes. Now, why are we doing this? Well, you may have noticed its head is rather balloon-shaped. That's right, his head's full of water and we need to burst it. Oh, what have I made? Wow, so clean. Well, I think this has been a resounding success. We went from cleaning windows with a sponge to getting swarmed by birds on the lift, and then we got that gun from Obama. That was kind of strange. And then we fought off a big green alien with a water balloon for a head.
Excuse me.
What?
What did you say about me? What's up, YouTube? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Peace out.